Hello, Yuri. Hello, Thelma. Good evening. Glad you could join. So let's just wait for the rest to log in. Hey guys. Hey Anam. Hey Jasper. Sina. Good evening. Okay. Okay. Who else do we have here? Okay. So we'll just wait for a couple more minutes. All right. Can anyone confirm if I am coming in clear to you guys? Is my connection okay? Do you guys hear me on your end? Okay. Hello, Pavan, Satya. Thanks for joining. Hi, Len. Thanks for joining. Hey, Marvin. Len, can you confirm if I am sounding okay?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Thank you. Hi, Claire. So I guess we can
Hi,
start.
Claire.
Yeah. Oh, Claire is here. Marvin is here as well. Hi, guys. So, Len, would you mind checking Skype if some people might need help in joining? Just help them out.
I, yeah, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Adaya.
Thank you so much. All right, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to the member-supported Pureland Buddhist group of the Philippines. We do this weekly self-improvement session every Wednesday. This is actually the story that we're going to read tonight is actually from this book, Something You Forgot Along the Way. This is a really amazing book and we do this every 8:30 p.m. in the Philippines, in 7:30 Vietnam, and 9:30 p.m. Japan. So anyone is welcome to join. If you have friends who you think are interested in improving their lives, being become happier, then definitely they're very welcome to join all of our talks. So I'm gonna need at least one or two volunteers to read our story. Does anyone want to read? Let me just open it here.
I'll pass for now, Kevin, because the screen is so blurry for me. I don't know why.
Oh,
Maybe it's my connection.
okay, sure, no problem. Okay, so can anyone see my screen? Does anyone want to read the first page? Is it clear on your end or is it also blurry? Anyone want to read or available to read?
Hi,
Oh, who's that?
it's me, Pavan Satya.
Oh, hi, thank you. Yes, please go ahead and read the first part.
Okay, so I've diagnosed patients before, but never their money. A physician of substance. Long ago in Japan, there was a distinguished physician named Nawaka. One day, as he was returning home from a journey to Edo, a messenger came to inform him that a wealthy townsman had fallen ill and to ask if he would please come examine him. He is the richest man in these parts, added the messenger. So be sure to diagnose him with even more care than you ordinarily would. Kake's good humor vanished. When you first asked me to look at him, I was prepared to do so right away, he said. but I no longer have the slightest inclination to do so. Please convey my regrets to the patient.
Thank you, Pavan. And would you mind reading this last part for me?
But why? It's simple. I was prepared to offer my services to a sick man. But now you tell me that because he is rich, I am to examine him with special care. I have diagnosed many a sick man, but never once have I diagnosed a man's money. The messenger could not help but admire this stand and took his leave after offering apologies. What made Kake great was not his medical proficiency alone, but a character impervious to the claims of wealth and power. Herein lay the secret of the benevolent art he practiced.
All right, thank you so much, Pavan. So this is a really short but wonderful story. You can learn a lot from it. So we'll start. So just a quick summary, there was this physician whose name is Nawa Kakei. And I don't know what doctors look like in ancient Japan, but just imagine, let's just try to picture him as a modern physician or a doctor, okay? So a messenger rushed to him because Kakei went back um, to his hometown from Edo. So a messenger rushed to him and said, "Kakei, I have a patient. He's sick. Please come and examine him." You know. So normally, as all doctors would, all doctors are willing to help their patients become or feel better, right? And so, however, the messenger added, "You know what? He is the richest man in these parts. So be sure to diagnose him with even more care than you ordinarily would." And so, with that, Kakei's good humor vanished. No, he was lively. He was positive. Because he likes helping people. But once he heard that, he didn't look good at all. So Takei said, "When you first asked me to look at him, I was prepared to do so right away. But I no longer have the slightest inclination to do so. Please convey my regrets to the patient." And so the messenger asked, "But why?" And then Kakei said, "It's simple. I was prepared to offer my services to a sick man, but now you tell me that because he is rich, I am to examine him with special care. I have diagnosed many a sick man, but never once have I diagnosed a man's money." So that was the story. Short, but it has a deep lesson on it. So let's continue. Have you ever met someone who seems to act like the whole world owes them? It's kind of um, it's one of the most uncomfortable situations you can have, right, in life. And I know all of us have experienced this. So trying to deal with someone who acts this way can feel frustrating. In fact, in society, this type of behavior typically attracts strong criticism and condemnation. So, in social media, especially on Facebook and Twitter, you'll see a lot of these videos and posts that go viral. When someone is rude to, say, for example, um, a person or a salesperson, it automatically goes viral on social media, right? And people would comment, "Oh, he is so rude. He he is so entitled," right? I'm sure you've seen some of these posts in social media, and there are a lot of them circulating ever since Facebook became popular. So, and then some would say that uh, this is the age of entitlement. Like people are just so attached to what they have, like the wealth that they have, their looks, um, their power. If they're in position. Some people say that this is the age of entitlement. As people get richer, they are more likely to feel entitled, to exploit others, and to cheat. And that extends to politics too. And I've seen a lot of I'm following certain pages in Facebook on politics, and it doesn't look really good, especially here in the Philippines. So this is true, like I know you can relate to this because at some point in our lives, we have felt like we are exploited by some people who feel like they have this power on us just because they have they perceive to have more, right? Okay. Everyone good? Let me continue. So while having money
Yeah,
doesn't, okay, great. So while having money does not necessarily make anybody anything, the rich are way more likely to prioritize their own self-interests above the interests of other people. When a person has more of something, there's always the risk that they will decide the reason they have more is because they deserve more. So and going back to the story, the patient, the patient is actually a rich person. He is a, just check the story here. He is a townsman, a wealthy townsman, and although he did not say directly that he deserves more healthcare or more quality of service, the messenger kind of gave that impression or energy, right? So on the next few slides, I would like to share some of the experiments that were done in the past by experts. And one of those experts is psychologist Paul Piff. If you happen to see his TED talk in YouTube, I recommend watching that because it's really amazing. So Paul Piff did some stunning new research into the effects of wealth and inequality on people's attitudes. So he found out that as people grow wealthier, they are more likely to feel entitled, to become meaner and to be more likely to exploit others, even to cheat. So this first experiment was the car experiment. The more expensive the car is, the more likely the person are to cut in front of other cars or not give pedestrians a chance to cross. Now, I experienced this a lot of many times when I'm walking in my way and I try to cross the road. Some cars just don't uh, allow me to walk first. And I'm not sure if it's just a Filipino culture thing, but I think most people, because this experiment was done in the US, but generally most people would do this. Like the more expensive their car is, the more they don't give consideration or they don't yield to other people. So it says that 42% of 42% the chances are they do this compared to those who have regular cars. And then the second experiment was imagine if you are standing in line, say a coffee shop or Starbucks, and you're about to order, oops, and you're about to order your favorite cup of coffee or cookies, and when you're there, the cashier gave you more than um, what your change should be. So in this case, instead of giving like 10 pesos as change, the cashier gave you 20 pesos, for example. So what would you do? You know, what would a wealthy person do, and what would a regular person do? So the outcome of this was that the wealthy people tend to keep the money and they don't return it, right? Surprising, right? We tend to think that they are more sensitive because they have more money, but in the experiments they end up actually just not returning the money. So and then the amount of wealth a person has also affected how they view other people. So if you notice this, Though the wealthy people, if you know what Google glasses are, these are actually high-tech glasses that measure um, the eye movements, you know. So basically, the wealthier people tend to not stare at in general with the rest of the other people, but the not wealthy people or the regular ones would socially gaze and give a warm smile. Did you guys think this makes sense? I think it does, right? Because whenever I walk outside in the streets of Cebu or Manila, the ones who are um, that I encounter on the streets, they tend to have eye to eye contact and they tend to smile, at least on my experience. But if you move into some place where there are a lot of wealthy people, they don't tend to make that much eye contact. So this was the experiment. And then lastly, um, imagine if you are in a group meeting, so just think like you are you're back in college and you have a group project and you have like five cookies in front of you and you are assigned as the leader of the group. Now, the leader of the group now has power, right? Because he acts as the manager or the leader. Now, the study says that the more you have this sense of power, the more you feel the need to get um, more stuff, like in this case, the cookies. So the experiment went this way, and the more people felt powerful, the more they get resources, right? And that's kind of scary. That's kind of what's happening right now in governments all over the world, right? Because they feel like they're in charge. So this sense of power makes them feel that they should get more, that they should get, that they deserve more resources. And then the prefrontal cortex, I'm not an expert on this, but this is the part of the brain where it has the function to empathy, to understanding others. So the wealthier the person becomes, in MRI scans, the less activity is shown on the prefrontal cortex. So it's kind of backed up with science. The higher the social class goes, the higher the wealth goes, the less activity is noticed in the prefrontal cortex. Now, before we proceed, I have no intention to demonize wealthy people because this is more like being mindful. If we become more mindful of our actions, we can cultivate this sense of sensitivity. So I'm not saying that wealthy people are in general bad, because we have different conditions in life. We have different upbringing, we have different characters. So this is just to show you um, the research and the studies that were conducted. So, is everything okay so far? Everything good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a comment.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Sorry to disturb the flow, but can I
sure.
ask somebody to help me with the audio? Someone is not hearing anything. Oh, okay, there.
Oh,
Anne replied to her. Okay, yeah, sorry. I just saw it now. Yeah.
it's okay. So is everything good now on the person's end?
Um,
Just want to make sure let me
uh,
just check Skype.
it's Yuri. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you have concerns, please type it in the Skype group chat so we could have the notes too. Oh, yeah, she said thank you.
All right, amazing. Okay, so
Thank you, Anne.
thank you guys. So yeah, we cannot be immune to entitlement, and there's a deeper reason on this in Buddhism. And if you want to know why, feel free to send us a private message in Skype, either me or Len, and we'll be more than happy to explain the reason why we cannot be immune to entitlement. However, how much power you give to those feelings is entirely up to you. So you have the control, right? That's why I said we can be mindful about this. So, how can we manage our sense of entitlement? Number one, practice treating others with respect, compassion, and gratitude. The more kindness you give to others, the more you are likely to receive. And so typically favor produces favor, right? So if you are genuinely kind to others and commit to acts of selflessness without expecting favor in return, others feel more free to return the same goodness to you. And this is actually based on the law of cause and effect. If you remember, let me just open it here. We reap what we sow, and we have a separate topic on the law of cause and effect, and I would highly recommend that you join that. But in general, the law of cause and effect says good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results, your own deeds bring your own results. So if you respect others, if you show compassion, if you if you do these things, it will all come back to you, right? Number two, celebrate the success of others. The happiness and joy of others can be infectious. Don't you agree? And even in the most difficult times, times when you feel like you can't accomplish anything, especially if you are trying to control the feelings of a sense of entitlement, you can learn to celebrate the success of others. Number three, help less fortunate people. This is a really good deed, especially now that it's the Corona season. um, we can at least help people who are really struggling. If you have the means, you can donate face masks. And I'm not sure what the status is with the Philippines, but I think students are coming back in August, and some of them are going to get their modules in school. So if they don't have the resources or the face masks, then it's kind of risky for them. So we could at least help them in the way we can. And you will surely make a difference in someone else's life, right? Volunteering time around others and seeing the struggles of other people can help you realize that everyone is the same and that everyone just wants to live a happy life, right? Number four is to reach out to a professional. Now, we have different coping mechanisms. Each person is unique. And so if you feel like this sense of entitlement is kind of really torturing you a lot, it would be best to reach out for professional help, you know, from a local mental health clinic, a psychologist, or a counselor. And then last, but for me, it's the most important, is to continue listening to Buddhism. Buddhism helps us become happier. It's true. It will help us become more empowered. It will help us become more compassionate and understanding. So if we continue listening to Buddhism, totally, definitely, we will become happy, and we will become more sensitive to our own entitlement, to our own shortcomings. So going back to the doctor, Kakei, this is from the book. What made Kakei great was not his medical proficiency alone, because all doctors are great. They're amazing, but a character impervious to the claims of wealth and power. Herein lay the secret of the benevolent art he practiced. So Kakei, it's safe to say that Kakei did a lot of self-reflection. I guess it's safe to say as well that he had a great education, because doctors have many, many years of education in order to become doctors. And these conditions, when combined, really made Kakei the person that he is, right? So I just want to share as well, if anyone wants to read, I'd like to share this part. Can someone read please read this.
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
It's
Go ahead.
mhm. Vanity is the greatest cause of failure. As you rise in status and come into greater wealth, you begin to look down on others. Puffed with vanity, you see nothing wrong with that behavior. But the stalks of rice were the most fruit path the lowest. Any rise in wait, I think I lost my connection.
Oh, you're still good. We can still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any rise in status or increase in wealth must be accompanied by greater humility. You must become like stalks of rice. It cannot be said too often. Don't be vain.
Thank you, Chester. Thank you so much. So we must become like
Mhm.
stalks of rice, you know? And the way we can be like stalks of rice is when we continue to make the effort, when we continue to evaluate ourselves through self-reflection, right? And one of the best ways to do this is the key points that I gave earlier. And the best thing is if you continue listening to Buddhism, definitely. So that's pretty much it for tonight. Unless if you have any other questions, please post it on Skype. And by the way, we continuously provide regular talks here and now. We have, what I said earlier, we have about the law of cause and effect. We have about self-reflection and many more. So if you wanna continue, and I highly recommend you to do so, listening to Buddhism, please stay in the Skype group and then join our Facebook group as well. And then if you have any feedback or you want to share something about this topic, we can continue the conversation on Skype. All right. So do you have any other questions? Or Len, do you want to add something or share?
Oh, oh yeah. Aside from the talks that Kevin said earlier, once a week, our Buddhist teacher Frank hosts an open talk, like a Q&A session. You could ask him anything about Buddhism for 40 minutes. So if you have pressing questions about Buddhism or something you're curious about, that's the best time to ask him. And yeah, stay in the Skype group, like you said, because that's where we announce all the schedule of the next talks. Yeah.
Right. So thank you guys we're happy to have you here. Thank you so much and chat with you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Chester. Thank you. Oh, Joanne is here. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, guys. Take care. Don't forget your face masks. Take care.
Thank you.